Good morning. Happy Saturday to all you lovely heroes out there.
Man, I realize now, just literally right now, that I didn't grab my laptop.
I was going to say something, but I figured
You know?
it's in your room, right?
So, yeah, it is. Should I go get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. You know, I could have done that the whole 8 minutes I was sitting here before we hit the go live button. But, I did bring my journal. But,
yeah, that's good.
Please hold.
It's not bad. Okay, share this link. Copy the link to... Oh, there it is. Okay. For some reason, I feel like Facebook makes it so difficult to find groups. Cool. Oh. Okay. Oh, we're on YouTube as well. That's fine.
Anything important happened while I was gone?
Nope. I'm just getting all of our channels set up. Hey, Brandon Lionhearted, Melissa D on YouTube. Let's go over here, and there we go. Boom. Morning, LL. Good morning, Cheyenne. Stacy. Good morning. Cheyenne says, "Wow, this is different being on a laptop." Are you on a laptop now?
Morning,
Cheyenne.
everybody.
Welcome to Coffee Talk.
Kiera, good afternoon from Florida. You know, Florida is a place.
This is going to be riveting.
Yeah. We're clearly cranked up this morning.
Do you want the Shimmy James blue mug? This is
Good morning, Nicole.
the infamous Coffee Talk mug that was sent to us.
I gotta be honest, that's probably my favorite mug.
This one is?
Yeah.
That we have?
Yeah. Do you know why?
Why?
Full hand coverage.
Oh, yeah. Full hand coverage.
It's so much better.
Look at that.
Especially I'm in, relative to other people, excessively large human. I don't have excessively large hands relative to other people, but I do have large hands.
Right.
And being able to use all of my hands on a mug is such a satisfying experience.
You can say all hands on deck.
LL said, second hatless Nick live. It's like you moved my food dish. It's a great analogy.
I didn't realize people were so married to the idea of me having a hat on.
See, I'm just wearing a hat because I went for a run this morning.
Good
Unintentionally.
What do you mean? Someone
That makes it
chasing you?
sound better. I was getting coffee with Dr. Webster.
Oh, nice.
And yesterday, my car's timing belt flipped off. So I need to fix it. But I forgot about it until it was time to go. So that I was going to walk to coffee.
That's the worst.
So then I went for a run, which is actually great. Little easy mile in.
Wow.
But then I had to run there to around the corner and okay,
Yeah, catch your breath.
catch my breath,
You can't look too
walk
eager.
up, be like, oh yeah, hey.
Can't look too eager. Morning, Rhonda. Good morning, Elaine, Kyle's mom. Afternoon in Michigan, says Laura.
I like Michigan.
I'd never been to Michigan.
I went to
There
the
you
Upper
go.
Peninsula for a wedding 3 years ago. It was a great experience.
Wow.
It was very, actually very Pacific Northwesty
Really?
up there. Yeah.
Would you move
was
to
my
Would you
experience.
move to Michigan if you had a chance?
It probably wouldn't be on the top of my list. I mean, I really like it here, but I would not be opposed. If I had to move somewhere,
If you had to pick between New York City
New York
and
City.
Michigan. Really?
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Really?
I love New York, dude.
Wow.
It's probably my favorite city in the world.
Wow.
I would like to live there, but not for more than a year.
Really?
1 to 2 years maybe.
I go back and forth on New York.
Yeah.
I think the idea of living in New York is more exciting to me. If I was actually sitting in an apartment in New York and there's like, people honking and sirens going off and I'm sitting in a closet and
It's true.
and I'm paying like $3,000 a month.
It's true.
I think I'd be like, it's probably more space in Michigan. That's probably what I'd be sitting there
It's
thinking.
true. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not something I could do for a long time, but it is such a definitive city to me, and there's always so many things going on. And I would say even when I've stayed there, like I have felt the ability to walk around and find kind of some space or some room, but plus they got $1 pizza. I mean, how are you going to sit and be sad when you can have pizza for $1?
Yeah, it's like it's hard to be sad when you can just get up from your closet apartment.
Do you have a top US city?
Probably Austin.
Yeah, Austin's really sweet.
I don't even really know why. That's the sad part. I mean, I like Seattle a lot. And I've never lived in Austin. I visited quite a bit, but I've never lived there. So it could switch. I could move somewhere else, and I could be like, wait, Seattle is actually really great. But who knows? Alora asked if she can have sangria for coffee talk. That is 100% allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit jealous.
Go crazy.
I feel like I should have sangria more often.
Yeah,
especially as the weather heats up.
I am always trying to avoid being this guy, but I have to be this guy for a second. I studied abroad in Spain, and yep. See, I know it's the worst kind of yeah. See ya, Zach.
All right.
That's like all they
when
drink.
I was studying abroad.
That's all they drink, and I had never had it before then, and I hardly had it after. But for like 2 months, every meal, we were drinking like sangria. I think it's free most places. You sit down and they're just like, "Do you want water or sangria?"
Can you imagine if that happened here?
No.
It's like those feel like the wrong list of options.
Jennifer's correct. Not all sangria
Yes.
is created equal.
There are some really disgusting things labeled as sangria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I took a cooking class when I was there, and they actually made it in Barcelona. No, I'm not gonna be that guy. And they were like, yeah, like you just put more sugar in it if you want it to be like have more alcohol in it. I was like, what? They're like really nonchalant. I don't know. I think Europe in general looks at alcohol very differently. Well, there's no think about it. They definitely do. Much more.
They don't think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. So anyway, I'll stop being that guy now. But anyway, sangria is great, and you can definitely have some. Good morning.
Yeah. I just had the idea. I was like, what if this is a mug of hot sangria? And I hated myself for that thought. Actually, I guess it would just be like muddled wine. It would probably still be delicious.
Yeah. So much sugar in it.
Yeah.
It's hard for it to be bad. See, Alora lived in Barcelona for a couple of years as well. Or for a couple months, rather. Sorry. So she gets it. So you know what, Alora?
I've never been to Spain. I'd really like to go.
It's amazing. Their approach to life is really amazing to me. The whole like, we're gonna take a nap in the middle of the day for 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours, and like everything's gonna close, and we'll open back up at like 4. It's just like, can you imagine? Like, that's how it was. And then like they eat dinner so late, which is that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
You eat dinner at like 11 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah. And then but
Isn't it a much longer meal too?
way longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everything, I mean, so probably the town I was in a small town. I actually wasn't in Barcelona or like Madrid. I was in a town kind of close to Portugal, but like, yeah, you would see families, like going on like their evening walks at like 1 a.m. with like a baby and a dog. It's like it's so different. It's very like, yeah, we're all just hanging out, because I think the thought is like, we're going to take a nap tomorrow no matter what.
Right.
So we can be up at 1 a.m.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I kind of like that because I'm not as disciplined about this because of COVID, but I would always try to structure my day. I would always think about it like I have like 2 or 3 days in a day. It's like, well, this is what I want to get done for the next 4 hours, and I'm gonna do something like I'll go for a run, and then I'll take a shower, and that's I'm kind of like resetting for my next day, you know.
Yeah.
So I wish I could take naps. I don't know how. I feel like I would,
taking naps.
dude. I really wish I
think
could.
I'm gonna go ahead and say something might be controversial. I think I'm the best sleeper in the house.
Yes, without a doubt. I don't think it's controversial.
Didn't realize how talented I was at sleeping until I lived.
So jealous.
Kyle might be the worst sleeper I've ever met in my life. Kyle, like, sleepwalks. He has night terrors. He'll get up and just, like, go outside and wake up and lock himself out of the house. Like, just, you know, just not a great sleeper. But I tend to be fine. But I probably sleep the least.
Right. That is the other thing, though.
It's the weird part
Nick,
about it.
You will frequently be like, yeah, I was up till 5 a.m. You know, doing nothing.
Yep.
Or like, I don't know, like watching YouTube videos. And then you're like still up at like 8 a.m. to walk for coffee. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. You know, it's not an uncommon thing. And again, speaking of obnoxious people, there's the study abroad person, which is obnoxious. But then there's also the like, I don't need to sleep as much as you person. And that's just as obnoxious. Yeah. Those are two people that I feverishly tried to avoid. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Fervently. That's what I was trying to say. Well, I
feverishly try to avoid. I'm like, that is a sign of COVID. So
the only side effect of sleeping 3 hours a night is you get COVID. No. I don't want to be that kind of person.
Were we talking about the Why We Sleep guy?
Yes.
You saw him on a podcast, right?
Yeah, I watched a whole podcast.
Yeah, I think I have that book in there. I still haven't read it.
I want to read it.
But you brought up the correlation between daylight savings time and was it blood pressure?
Blood pressure.
Yeah. That's so wild.
He was like, we know sleep affects blood pressure because there's a global experiment that happens twice a year on it. It's like people's blood pressure goes up 20%, or 20% of people's blood pressure goes up. And then 20% of people's blood pressure goes back down between daylight savings time and the other one. There's daylight savings and there's the other one. I can't remember, but yeah, it's true. I actually felt really convicted after watching that. I was like, I need to sleep more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've been trying to sleep more.
Yeah. The you know who is trying to not help you sleep more is the woodpecker outside of our house.
He woke me up, or whatever. Yeah. I don't know the gender of the woodpecker, but he or she woke me up.
Which is like, I'll just say, I have no desire to do violent things to that woodpecker right now. But approximately 3 hours ago, when the woodpecker was like, "Let me play you the song of my people," on the side of our house, and I'm like, it is 6:15 a.m. on a Saturday. Yeah. I had violent thoughts.
I had a bout with the woodpecker at about 6 a.m. this morning. I heard, and it woke me up, which is about an hour before I get up, and so I wasn't like dead asleep, but it definitely woke me up, and it's hard to wake me up. So I was like, this is annoying. Mm-hmm. And so I like took a jacket that I had on my bed for some reason, and I just like whipped the wall with it.
Nice.
It just took one, and then it never happened again.
I have to pound the wall.
Yeah. Does anyone know how to get rid of a woodpecker without like shooting it? We live in
strangling it.
Yeah, we live in a neighborhood. I don't want to fire a gun off. I mean, I guess I'd preferably not kill it at all. I just want it to go away.
Right. I don't even mind. Like, there are trees over there that it is welcome to.
Yeah, live
there. I mean it. No. Like, I had this thought, and my friend Chad didn't think it was as funny as I did or as insightful as I did, but he was dealing with some mice at his house, and I was thinking about, like, I wish that we could talk to animals and just be like, look, I don't know what the exchange rate is, but I bet $50 would be a lot of money to a woodpecker. Right? Or like to some mice. I bet that would set them up for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you need? I will give you $50 to never wake me up in the morning. Honestly, I don't even care if they want to peck at our house. I want it to happen later. You know? That's all.
All right. This is a bunch
What's
of
up, Trey? By the way, I feel like I haven't seen you in the live stream in a little bit because I haven't been here.
Trey, are you in France still? I know that you were there. And I think that you got engaged, or maybe you got married.
Ooh, Devora says put peanut butter in those trees. They like peanut butter. I will try that in literally 30 minutes. Whatever we're done here, I will go put peanut butter in a tree.
You know, it feels like an April Fool's joke. I'm going to be honest.
I'm going to be out there with, I can already see it. I'm going to try
With
to
some
catapult
Jif.
with a spoon.
Oh, wait, do we do creamy or
Yeah.
chunky peanut butter?
Do we have to ask their preference?
Yeah, you have a butter knife and you're spreading it on the tree. Our neighbors are going to look at you and be like, I knew those guys were insane. I love it. Also, hi, David. Let's see.
We do have offers. Somebody, or LL said they have a hammer if I have trouble sleeping.
Like a band hammer?
That was the conversation.
Yeah, I skimmed that.
Yeah.
Nicole goes, no, the band hammer causes insomnia. It bans sleep.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Dude, I've been playing Diablo 3.
Oof.
The game is so fun.
Did you?
It was so hard to.
Have you played through yet?
I made it through the 4th act. I was hustling to try to finish it with my first character last night because I also have DLC, and I was like, I have to go to sleep. I think I like took a melatonin, and it was like the race against time to like see if I could. Which, by the way, from the standpoint of getting good sleep, that's definitely playing yourself. Like playing video games until you fall asleep is like probably not the best plan from a blue light exposure standpoint, but
Whatever.
you know.
See,
I was
Cheyenne
enjoying playing Diablo.
Cheyenne said fake owls. Someone said fake owls here. I think it was.
I think we have to get a fake owl.
But does that help?
Um,
Owls are really just the bullies of the bird world.
yeah. I think owls prey on woodpeckers, I think is the idea.
Have you ever seen an owl?
Yeah. They're massive.
They are huge.
Yeah. You forget, I always forget how big birds can be, like hawks too.
Yeah.
Like there are hawks that are bigger than me from a wingspan standpoint.
Right. Yeah, longer.
Like,
It's terrifying. I remember this was back in college. I parked at back in college. I parked by like the building I was up, like kind of by the weight room. And I was walking back to the apartments, and it was no one else was there. It was dark outside, and I just hear like a branch, like kind of like you hear like a tree branch like kind of rustle. Yeah, and it sounded like someone like fell out of a tree. That's how loud it was. It wasn't like, you know, you hear like tree branches blowing in the wind or something. It sounded like one person hit a tree branch on the way down from a tree. And I look back and there's an owl like swooping down towards me and goes over my head. And it is massive. It was so big.
the owls are not what they seem.
What?
It's
What does that mean?
it's in Twin Peaks.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
they say. Yeah.
Because the owls are watching the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just one of the first spooky things said on the show that kind of clues you in something else is going on. It's really good.
Twin Peaks.
We're getting some love for Diablo 3. Kiera, I am playing as the monk.
The monk.
Which was I remembered playing Diablo 3 at my friend John's house probably 10 years ago.
Yeah. That's probably when I played it.
And it was like burned in the back of my head. I love like high stimulus, like dungeon crawlers with a lot of loot that I don't have to be very good at. And so it's kind of been the perfect game for me. And it was on sale. I didn't want to spend $60 on it for a game that old. That felt irresponsible. But it was on sale for like $15, and I was like, I can do that. And it's been great.
That's such a good game.
It's really fun.
Gosh. And you know what's good? Because I played it 10 years ago, and you can play it now, and it's like hasn't
Right.
aged. You know.
Bert says they're remastering Diablo 2. Which
Really?
I don't know if that's actually happening, but I feel like Bert's pretty trustworthy on these things. But I haven't Googled it.
Interesting.
My only trouble with it is I already want to play all the other characters.
Yeah, you can't switch very easily. I think you can do co-op though. That's what we should have done.
We should.
Should've got
I'd be
it for
super
Switch.
down.
Play all four.
Oh.
That'd be pretty fun.
Man.
Everyone in the house has a Switch now, so we could play it on our Switch.
Dude, that would be so fun.
Yeah. Love it. Cool.
How was your week, Nick?
Whoa. I had a great week. We got back from the team retreat on Tuesday night or Monday night. Monday night. Then the first day of work, I would say, back in the office after vacation and all that stuff. Was Tuesday, and I feel like we just like hit the ground running. I felt really confident and clear about the work that needed to get done. I was really excited to get the PDFs out this week, which we did. And I think we only had like 1 or 2 problems with Heroes about it, like emails and stuff. And I was expecting a lot more.
Yeah, we do. I think we still need to add the wallpapers.
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
the only thing we missed.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yep,
they do exist, and they are amazing.
That is actually a huge problem.
we just totally spaced. We can
Yeah.
just update the file and send out, right?
You can update the file and it will I think it auto notifies
Mhm.
everyone. Or actually it doesn't auto notify, but people will have it. Anyway, we can figure out how to do it. There's a way to do it without too big of a hassle. But anyway, I guess what I mean is we sent about, 2,700 emails with files, and I was expecting at least 10, if not 20, to be messed up or confusing, or people don't understand how to download it, or didn't get there, or something like that. And we didn't get anything. We got like nothing.
Dude, David's killing me eating a breakfast scramble that sounds amazing.
Oh,
Eggs, sausage, potatoes,
I love
cheese, salsa, sour cream.
I love
So
that you,
good.
went through all the ingredients.
I know.
I was also a big World of Warcraft player, David. In fact, I tried to play a couple months ago, a lot more like a year ago, actually.
I was gonna say, I remember coming over one day
Yeah,
and you had started playing World of Warcraft. I was like, this is the end. This is the end of the journal. It's all downhill.
I know.
We're gonna point back to this moment and be like, so why
Yeah.
did productivity tank?
Yeah, it's like, well, I had to get my Pandaren, I think is what it's called. Anyway, I played WoW a lot, like growing up, and then I tried to play about a year ago with all the new stuff, all the new classes you can play and races you can play, and I just couldn't get back into it. There's too many things added to the game, and most importantly, it would have taken my life away, and I didn't want to give my life away quite yet to a video game.
That's how I
Let's
feel
see.
about RuneScape.
Yeah,
I really want to go back to old school RuneScape, but like
isn't that funny? You're just like, man.
the time investment. Like Diablo 3 is a great example of like I can scratch the itch of like playing a nostalgic game without, destroying, without spending 8 hours farming U logs in
Oh my
in
god,
Lumbridge.
it gives me PTSD. I had a friend of mine pay me, I think it was $200 to get a character to like be high enough in like lumberjack or
Wood cutting.
wood cutting, I
Noob.
guess. Wood cutting. I was like, what is it called? And I just gave him the character and he paid me $200. But I chopped trees on RuneScape for about a month, just leveling up one skill, just farming. Pretty sad.
My buddy Caleb is into old school RuneScape. I see him play every now and then. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, that would be really fun. But yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I loved playing WoW back in the day, but it's back when I had more time, and I don't know, but it definitely took all my free time. It was also more stressful because I didn't want anyone to know. This is back when I was very much still closet nerd. I have a vivid memory. I'll tell you this quick story of sitting next to my good friend. His name's Perry, that I grew up with. Him and I would play World of Warcraft together. But him and I also had some friends that were like jocks. They're all the cool people. And Perry's house was kind of the house that everyone would hang out at. And so people would just kind of like literally walk in the front door and then run up to the bonus room. And I remember distinctly Perry and I playing World of Warcraft, hearing his front door open, looking at each other, and hearing like footsteps like run up the stairs. And we like, I think we're in the middle. We're in the middle of an instance. We're in the middle of like, running like something that was taking us like an hour or two to actually do. And we just closed the game, turned around, and they walked in like, what are you guys doing? We're just like, just hanging out. Like, like for real. Just 100% closet nerd, also like insecure, like middle school, high schooler, as well. But yeah, super distinct memory of just like, I have to hide this part of my life because
But Perry was in on it.
Perry was in on it.
And he was in on hiding it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. It was just like, oh, here come all the cool, like jock kids that we don't want, like we want to be friends with them, but we don't want them to know that we play. this video game.
I don't know if this is true. Maybe this is too idyllic, but it does feel like kids these days are a lot more like open in terms of like there's a lot more like cross-click compatibility.
Oh yeah.
It seems like
Yeah.
like everybody's allowed to be into different things a little bit more,
Right.
like culturally a little bit more.
Yeah, the diversified person is a lot more expected, I think. Like, you know, it was like, oh, you're a jock or you're a nerd or you're a cheerleader. I don't know. I'm just thinking of all the thinking of all the HBO like shows that have all the archetypes. I think that's how like high school people used to be. It's the easy label, but it's not. I don't think that's actually how high schoolers are or probably have ever been. But especially today with all the accessibility to video games and to different interests, and you can have like a person that's star quarterback and like I don't know, theater kid and nerd and musician.
You mean Childish Gambino?
Yeah. Yeah. Donald Glover, if you're watching, we'd love to talk with you. Anyway.
Is this my first coffee chat?
I don't know. I feel like it's not.
I don't think it is either.
But it's always fun to have you on the coffee chat. So you actually, Rachel put it really well. She said the internet definitely helped normalize people having diverse passions. Yep. Said it really well. Final Fantasy player. I mean, there's so many good things. It's you know what I actually just caught up on. Did you watch the first episode of Invincible with us? It was a superhero show.
Yes.
Okay.
I did, but I was cooking. I was on a
That's
retreat.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
So I was like
if
walking
you're-
back and forth.
So I don't know if you guys have heard of this. There's a animated show on Amazon Prime Video right now called Invincible, and it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's pretty graphic, especially the first episode. It's really graphic, but it's great. It's kind of like The Boys in a way. If you guys have seen The Boys, it's another Amazon show. It's about superheroes as well, but it's more political and about like the PR of superheroes and all that stuff. Way less like Avengers, more I don't know, corruption, drama, that kind of thing. But with superpowers. Invincible is a show that they're doing now. There's only 4 episodes out, and I caught up on it yesterday, and I am so invested. I'm really into this show. Really, really great.
So it pays off well?
Yeah, it paces well. The first episode is like it sets the playing field for what happens next. So without spoiling anything, they do a good job of like, you know, burying the lead. I think like I don't really know where this show's going, but it's really entertaining, and I know they're going somewhere. It kind of almost feels like Game of Thrones in a way, a little bit. It's like you get this feeling that the writers of the show like have no problem killing the people that you like or doing whatever you know doing the unexpected.
Killing the people that I like in the show.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Not
Sorry.
Real life.
Sorry. Just
Yeah.
clarifying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's really good. I know.
Sorry, David. I responded to your I tend to fret. I thought it was a pun based off of Melissa asking, did I bring my guitar? That's why I responded with an F in the chat. I didn't see your other message at first. Which, Melissa, I did on the retreat. I actually brought 2 guitars because I don't want to have to play one guitar all weekend. Come on. What am I, 13?
Why did you bring 2 guitars? Because we were packing up my car. And Bert put his stuff in there. I put my stuff in there.
I
And then
brought
you
2
came out
guitars,
with 2
when I
guitars.
thought I was driving my own car. So I was not being as conscious, which I did not have a
I see.
crazy amount of stuff, but I did. It was I wanted to play guitar.
It's fine. It worked.
Yeah.
We got there. We got back. It was fine. I was like, man, is he like? I was like, is someone picking him up? Like, Is he gonna go play a show or something? That's what I thought. I was like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, dude. You know, just gotta hit the Leavenworth gigging scene.
I know.
Play some Bavarian town music.
I was like, does he have to fly somewhere after this? But hey, whatever's gonna help you retreat, you know.
It was like I brought like 12 books and 2 guitars. Those were my unnecessary things.
They want to know if you played the guitar. You did play.
I did. Yeah, I practiced every day. It wasn't we didn't do any camp sing along.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if that was the vision,
There's
I
no-
just
no
try to
kumbaya.
practice guitar every day. And then I
Yeah.
try to like work on an idea. So one is
see.
like I want to get a little better. I want to like play my skills and keep up my chops. The other one is like I want to work on a song idea or find something, whether it's for me or for my band or just to enjoy playing guitar.
Have we ever talked about your band on here?
I don't think so.
Do you guys care to hear about Zach's band? I mean, I'm sure. Well, I guess we're gonna do it anyway.
It's unfortunate that I'm not. This is like the only time I'm not wearing King's K merch.
Yeah.
I'm almost always wearing my band's merch.
Tell us, as if we knew nothing. Tell us about this band you play in and how you got there and why you do it.
Yeah, I play in a band called King's Kaleidoscope. It is a indie rock band according to Wikipedia, or alternative rock band according to Wikipedia, which I wrote. I don't know. What am I supposed to say about King's
Wait,
K?
you wrote a Wikipedia
Yeah.
for Kings?
Yeah, because it was
Really?
well. I updated it, and actually, I was talking to somebody recently who was really mad that there wasn't more information on our Wikipedia page. Anyway, I've been playing with this band for a couple of years. I was a big fan of it before. King's K has been around for what, 7 years? I guess 5 or 6 years. I ask you like
you keep saying King's K, but no
Yes,
one knows
sorry.
what it is.
I played in a band called King's Kaleidoscope.
King's
And I
Kaleidoscope.
casually refer to it as King's K. And actually, many of you have heard one of our songs without realizing it.
Have they?
Yeah, because we were in a Lexus commercial. That was
Yeah.
like, yeah, for like the last year, Lexus's big commercial had our song Sticks and Stones as
Yeah.
the play, which I can post the Lexus commercial. Our Greatest Curiosity. That was the name of the series. But yeah, I play lead guitar. I was on tour last year. I was supposed to be on tour this year. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I feel like I'm underselling it.
Yeah, I mean, King's Kaleidoscope is definitely a great band, and they are pretty big. They've been around for a long time and have had a lot of good success, right? I mean,
Yeah, we got to go, do a headlining tour, US, UK, Australia,
yeah.
like 35 shows.
Yeah, that's
2 years ago, I guess. I almost said last year.
right. Yeah, it's kind of like I think if Kings was like I don't know, 20% bigger and the world was not in lockdown, I don't think you'd have enough time to do both. I think you'd be full-time music guy.
Yeah, it is really, I have the life goal of it's like an experiment of like, can I help my friends build a really cool small business and play in a band without going crazy, without like destroying myself. So you know what I mean? Like without like, because when I was on tour, I was working full time
Right.
at my
Yeah.
corporate job, and that
Right.
was destroying myself. Touring
Yeah.
it's existentially amazing, but I will tell you, it is like the worst thing you can subject yourself to in terms of like your body and your schedule.
Yeah. Sounds awful, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's amazing. It's a dream. I don't want to like make it sound like, oh my gosh, like going on tour is so hard. I don't know what voice that was. But it is like, I was literally on a video. I remember I had a video call on my phone with my AirPods in, and my phone was set on a like 200-pound like flight case I was wheeling into the venue because I was on the call during load in.
Jeez.
And like you're dealing with time zones and like, this is like, we were big enough to have a bus on tour. This isn't even us having to drive ourselves, which makes things 10 times better than they would have been otherwise. So
yeah. It's like living two lives.
yeah,
You're
you
like,
know, little Hannah Montana energy.
Yeah. I was gonna say
the best
I was gonna say
of
Bruce.
both
I was
worlds.
gonna say Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Bruce
Bruce
or-
Wayne.
Oh yeah,
Who's Bruce Banner? Is that the Hulk?
Banner. Yeah,
Sorry. I guess that's kind of like living two lives, but I more so meant Batman than I meant the Hulk. Yeah, you have your
Nicole, I love that question. Remind me, how old is your daughter and what instrument are they trying to play? Also, I'm going to drop in the chat just in case anybody wants it. We've done some online live shows, and one of the songs is on YouTube. So if you actually want to see me play guitar and some cello, I just dropped that in the chat. But Nicole asked, do I have any advice for how to encourage my daughter to practice her music? Which I want to know the age range and the instrument before I answer that question.
It's a great question.
That is a question I'm immensely passionate about. And actually, for those of you who don't know, Nick and I, or Nick is also a musician.
Well,
he's a drummer.
I'm a drummer. I'm a garage drummer.
Yes, but one of the things, so Nick and I went to college together, actually like a mile that way, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Totally unintentional.
Right.
And I don't think we've ever figured out, but our college ran chapels and worship teams, and we might have played on one together in a different life.
I think we did.
And we don't know for certain if we did.
Yeah.
But before we even knew each other, I think, because I don't think we talked back then.
Yeah. You know, the whole season of life was a blur, but yeah. No, I play drums. We have it's actually Zach's drum set up in the garage, and usually every day I play for, I don't know, at least 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I smile every time I hear you drumming.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, Nick's gonna be emotionally healthier the next time I talk to him.
It's true. It's true. Drumming is, for me, it's not. I'm not necessarily trying to get better. It just does. It releases a lot of stress for me. So
I don't use the drum kit nearly as much as you do, which I know because I cannot fathom how you play the snare that high.
Oh yeah, I do play it really high.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's like literally up here, and it's like your tom is down here.
Yeah, I adjust it every time.
I know, I do too. I don't mind. I just look at it. I'm like, how do you? You have to like I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I can't. Well, I'm a really bad drummer. So
I don't know how you play it so low, and I don't mean that like how do you?
Well,
like
I also have never taken any lessons or anything, and I'm purely a passion drummer.
I just mean like physically, because you're taller than I am, and that stool is high, so your legs. So I'm like, are you like?
I guess that I like it the
same
think
your
level
leg
as that.
would be higher than the drum.
I do frequently hit my legs, which is actually painful.
That's what I'm always thinking. I'm always like, is he like? He's got to be smacking his thigh with a drumstick every now and then. But you know, I don't judge.
Sky is taking the kids to enjoy a beautiful Oregon day, which actually sounds like a great time.
Good for you.
I have so many. All of my memories of Oregon are so positive. Whether it's like going to Eugene or going to the coast, it's like, or Astoria. If I'm in Oregon, I'm having a good time.
I love it. I hope you have a really good day, Sky. You deserve it. I talked with Sky earlier this week about her quest, and that's awesome. It was really insightful, and amazing, and she was, vulnerable and insightful and wise and doing a great job. And so, yeah, you deserve it. Good for you. Go have fun with the family. Enjoy the weather. Hopefully, it's as sunny down there as it is up here in Seattle. David asking for roommates. We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if. I guess not everyone knows this, but like
the space that you see us in right now,
this is our house,
is where we live.
Yeah, we live in this
together.
We live in an odd building that has a garage that's big enough to make a warehouse out of. It has like 5 bedrooms. We use one as a YouTube studio, and then there's like a few offices. And like a kitchen and 4 bathrooms. It's very weird. I think so. It's 2 stories. The bottom story is more so like office space. Like the bathrooms that you guys have are like
yeah. One of them says employees only.
Yeah, they're like corporate bathrooms almost. But like smaller. Like
and then this house has a massive garage that is our warehouse,
yeah.
which is also where the drum set is.
Yes.
So it's such an odd building that oddly like really fits our needs.
Yes. Yeah, one of the reasons we wanted it so bad is that it's just like I would say, especially when we moved in here, we were in an awkward phase of the business, and we needed a space that we could live in, work in, and ship from. Mm-hmm. And it was really hard to find that. But this kind of fell in our lap.
David, David's speaking my language, by the way. I love that you're reading the Divine Comedy and not just Inferno, though I do understand why that's the only one people largely read. But they're also talking about C.S. Lewis, which I'm a big fan of. Actually, I would say the moment reading really clicked for me, and I want to get to Nicole's question, but the moment reading really clicked for me was I'd read Inferno when I was probably 14 or 15, and then excerpts from Purgatorio and Paradiso. Paradiso is the music festival. But I was reading The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis, which is a retelling of Dante's Inferno, or it uses the structure of Dante's Inferno. And what's their name? George MacArthur, the fairy tale writer, is plays the role of Virgil. And that the moment that clicked for me was like, I think the moment I was like, I'd never experienced a book doing that. So I love that. Also, I love taking time to sit down and read. Sorry, I saw a book comment and I was like, I gotta get in on that.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that.
I would love to. I don't think there's any more details from Nicole. I feel strongly. George MacDonald. Wow, George MacArthur, the general. That's how. Apparently, that's the brain I'm working with today. But Nicole, I've done some music teaching. I don't know if I could say I'm an expert. Well, I actually can definitively say I'm not. I feel strongly, personally, with kids, the best thing you can do is make every interaction with music as positive as possible, and then have especially if they have a kind of music that they like, I would say that's almost universally a good thing to encourage and let them go down the rabbit hole. And then eventually at some point it will click for them, and that's when they'll probably start putting the gas on getting better. But I think the more you try to push them, the more, if a kid wants to learn music, the more you push them to try to attain mastery before they understand why they would want to, in my experience, the more likely it is they're going to quit further down the line, because there's not going to be that connection with the music. And so I tend to be in the team of, like, hey, if they like, whatever kind of music they like, if it's parodies, if it's whatever, it's the same kind of music as you, explore that, see if they can learn that on their instrument, push them in that direction. Because once the passion hits, that's when they'll go, bring 2 guitars on their corporate retreat to run scales on a metronome, because they don't want to lose 4 days, which nobody could ever get me to do that.
Yeah. Unless
I saw the connection between that and something that I really, really love. And that for me is when it becomes a more like, it's like a forever pursuit instead of something I have to do for the school year.
Yeah. That's well said. You are passionate about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, I mean, I came up in the, like Suzuki School of Music, which is great because before it existed, I don't think there was any way to teach kids that young classical music. But I do think there were some, some misses there, in that there was no connection between that and the music that I loved. And so for me, it's more because I taught some lessons at a school in college, which was a nightmare, which is a horribly run school. The kids were great, as well as doing some preschool music education at the same time. It was very just like, if we can make all of your associations with music as positive as possible. Music is a fun thing. It's not a gate-kept thing. It's not a difficult thing. It's not math. Everything's allowed. There's no wrong answers, in a sense. Whatever you love is great, and let's explore that. That's like the best possible positive world. You can worry about like your theory's wrong later, or like you need to learn how to play a scale, or you need to learn how to read music.
What do you think of a movie like Whiplash? You seen Whiplash?
Yeah. I think it's really good. I mean, it is like, I think it's the exploration of like, the ends don't justify the means.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like that guy. And I think that's an echo of a past era. And I'm hoping that we can get better. Like, I think that person exists in our head all the time. I don't remember the actor's name. One, it's just a fantastic movie.
J.K. Simmons?
Yeah. Like, I think all of us have J.K. Simmons in our head. And for me, it's the constant fight of like, I mean, yeah, usually I'll be sitting 5 feet this way, playing guitar at my desk, swearing at myself for not being able to play the part I just wrote that nobody's ever played before. you know, and I'm like,
Right.
this isn't reasonable. This isn't nice. Like, this isn't kind. It's not accurate to how the world works. And it's not like, it's not helpful, you know?
Yeah. I think about that movie a lot. Yeah.
LL has great advice on learning guitar. If you hit the wrong guitar note, hold it extra long and then bend. That's actually really, really good advice. Because, like, on guitar, you're never more than, like, 2 frets away from the right note if you're playing the wrong note.
I see. Yeah, David, to clear things up, there are 4 of us that live in what we are calling the Heroes Headquarters. So there's Zach and I, there's Kyle, and then there's Bert. And those are the 4. Then we have people, well, we have one that frequently comes and helps us pack. His name's Tone. Helps us, well, he does most of the shipping of our journals. So do you ever order anything? Or, for instance, like your Kickstarter pledges will be packed by Tone predominantly. Well, probably Tone and Kyle and I predominantly, but mostly Tone. So yeah, that's our little company.
It's our little sitcom situation.
Right. It 100% is a sitcom situation.
Dude, we're getting a lot of George MacDonald love. Which I will say, I have read some George MacDonald, but I should read more. Especially because I love Lewis and Chesterton so much.
Yes. Drumline with Nick Cannon. I love that someone just said that. Yeah, I grew up watching Drumline. Every person that plays drums has seen Drumline. And it's kind of cringy, but it's also inspirational. So I actually have a theory, and that is drums are the hardest instrument to get right in a movie. Even Whiplash, I forgot the name of the actor. He's really good. In that movie, he actually plays drums. Even then, with the editing and everything, the syncopation is off, and it bothers any drummer. Like
I didn't
any
notice
movie.
that.
I think it's just the nature of drums and being captured on film and all the sound lining up and the dynamics of everything, and you know.
Have you seen the duck Whiplash video?
No.
I don't know if there's any way I can play it. It is like the funniest thing in the world to me.
The duck Whiplash video. So for those who haven't seen Whiplash, let me give you a quick rundown of what it is.
Sorry.
Whiplash is a movie about a jazz drummer.
I'm really bad at
who has kind of an aspiration to be a great, like, legendary jazz drummer. He goes to college and he gets this music teacher played by J.K. Simmons, who is like wildly abusive, verbally, abusive, and to all of his students. And his justification for being such a asshole is that is how you drive greatness out of someone.
Well, and that's his claim.
Right.
And the question is there of like, is that really what's happening, or is this guy just a sociopath?
Right.
I think is the tension of the movie.
Yeah. And I think the reason it works in Whiplash, or as like a concept, is because jazz musicians do spend probably more than maybe any other musicians, other than like maybe classical musicians. They spend so much time practicing and perfecting and nailing their parts and learning their instrument. And a lot of the times it's done in isolation. A lot of the times it's it's like all you're doing is practicing and practicing and practicing, and even then you're still not amazing. And so I think that's why it kind of works in this sense, is like all of these musicians have already kind of beat themselves up in their own way, like you were saying. So then you go to college and you get this music teacher, and he has all the best students, and he's like this legendary. He has this legendary band, and then you get into practice, and he just starts like absolutely tearing you apart,
Publicly just eviscerating him.
Yeah. And then by the end of the movie, like, you're kind of, the main character, the drummer, he goes through all this abuse, and he's like, it kind of brings the good out of him, but it also brings terrible things out of him. And he becomes a better drummer, but he becomes a way worse person. And then it drives to this giant crescendo of an ending. and you're kind of left not really knowing, because he does this like, you know, amazing drum solo that like I think in the universe of Whiplash is supposed to be legendary. So I think that that's the idea. It's kind of like, oh, you did this drum solo that will be like remembered forever, but like underneath the surface of that, you were miserable and everyone else in your life was miserable, but you made this beautiful piece of art. It's hard to know.
Doesn't he quit drumming too? Isn't that part of it?
I think at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he does a solo and then he like walks away and makes some amends with people.
I mean, it is interesting because like even my experience of playing, you know, with my band is very like, I mean, when I started, it was just kind of like, this is the standard, like you know, there is like an objective reality or kind of like a metal on metal feeling of like, you kind of gotta get to here. And like underneath it isn't gonna work, and it's kind of like I don't know. I do struggle with that of like the kindness towards self versus the like play to that standard. But that's part of why I think Whiplash is a movie about like what's the worst possible or like the most aggressive possible version of that kind of form of like productivity.
Yeah, it's turned up to 10. It reminds me of another movie, but I can't remember right now. But anyway, it's honestly really well done. No matter what side you're on or what you agree with or if you even like the movie, it's still worth watching.
It gives me anxiety.
Does it?
Yeah, I get really anxious watching it.
I love it.
Dude. I can't watch. I literally can't even watch The Office though. Makes me really anxious. And I'm not an anxious person in real life. Like I tend towards the depression side. I really don't deal with anxiety very much, but Melinda asked, is it scary that everyone is paying rent bills from the same income stream, all working on the Heroes Journal?
Great question.
It's a really good question. I would say, well, I don't know if you want to answer it, but
so is it scary that everyone is paying rent/bills from the same income stream? I wouldn't say scary.
I think it was scary when we moved in.
It
was part of why we decided to live together.
Yeah.
Was we can kind of keep our expenses as low as possible, pay ourselves as little as possible.
Yeah.
Pay the majority of our rent out of the business because it is, you know, this is where we work.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely a little scary. I think overall it's probably like net cheaper to live together and work in the same building than it is to like for all of us to have studio apartments, you know, and rent an office space or something. The big space requirement we have is a warehouse, and we needed a space that had a big enough warehouse that we could live and work and it would be comfortable. So it was definitely stressful when we moved in.
But we also basically, that was right before the release of Royal Purple, and we basically tripled the business.
Yeah.
By doing that. So I think it was more money than we'd ever heard of when we made the decision, and that was really scary. And now it's like business as usual for us because we've grown, and the community's grown so much.
Yeah. Like
we don't worry
honestly,
about it as much.
To be really transparent with you guys, if Purple didn't go as well as it did, I don't know what we would have done.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have enough money to pay more than like 2 or 3 months rent. And if that release hadn't gone very well or whatever, like we wouldn't have been able to afford to keep going. And that's it's kind of the same story with IMA. It's a little more flexibility, but still the same thing with that Kickstarter. Like we're not at a place like, I mean, I know that like when we say that we're releasing something, we're really excited about it, and we are, and we're pumped. But there's another side of anxiety where it's like, oh man, like this has to be really good, and this has to go over really well, and this really has to be something that people love. Otherwise, like we're gonna have to, like, we may have to figure out.
I think
how to pay our rent.
Yeah. It's extra incentive to make really amazing things.
Right.
We had a question from Megan. Do you guys have side hustles?
No.
No, I have the band, which I make a little bit of money from. Actually, one of the songs I wrote might get picked up for a commercial.
Really?
It's really exciting. I can't say for who, but that would be like the first time I've ever made money off of writing music.
That's really cool.
But that's much more an artistic expression for me. It's not about money. I feel like I used to be the king of the side hustle when I was at my corporate job. I was always picking up extra marketing work. Not always, but picking up extra marketing work, copywriting stuff. I mean, Kyle isn't here right now because he coaches cross country, But again, that's
Yeah.
much more of a passion,
Yeah.
like rest type of thing. I think that's
Right.
the only thing any of us have right now is like
Yeah.
the I'm trying to keep my head straight. Heroes Journal eats up literally all of my time.
Yeah, I mean, so the Heroes Journal was a side hustle. I think that's why it's kind of weird, is because it definitely was a side hustle for about a year and a half. It was mostly Kyle and I, and then Zach came on and was kind of doing it. I would call it as like a side hustle. I don't think we were paying you anything, but
Yeah.
but it was still something that. So anyway, we had it as a side hustle because I don't think we believed it had potential to be as big as it has gotten. But yeah, over just like a long period of time, a couple years, slowly scaling it, just kind of giving it the attention it deserves, and like it's like watering a little baby plant. Kind of how I thought about it. I was like, I'll just work my corporate job, and when I get off, I'll go work on the journal, and just kind of did that for about a year. And then one day, Kyle and I looked up, and we had orders up to our shoulders in our living room, and we were like, okay, we're gonna quit our jobs. And it was like tough. Took a huge pay cut. We still are making substantially less money than we ever were working any corporate job. But I mean,
Yeah, about that. Could we? I'm kidding.
yeah,
It'd be really
yeah.
funny.
Do you want to do a can I have a raise?
All right,
Yeah.
year-end review right now on Coffee Chat Live.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't quit your main hustle to do your side hustle full time because you're making more money. And in my opinion, maybe you do, but I think that the incentive to quit my corporate job was to do something that I wanted to do and do it like in the way that I wanted to do it.
Yeah. I will say the moment I knew I needed to quit my job was, without talking about the numbers, I was at my corporate job and I was in my year-end review and they were like, hey, like, you know, it's like it had been a okay year for that company, but they were like, hey, like, you know, you've done really well. Like, I had to really fight for this, but we're giving you the exemplary like raise, which is like 1.75% instead of like 1.5%. And that day I went home, and the next day we did our June 1st launch. And I was like looking at our Shopify and like looking at how many people were ordering journals and thinking about that previous conversation. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I keeping this thing over here when there's like so many people passionate about the journal and the opportunity to make something really amazing and grow a real business too? But it was that contrast between like, hey, we really fought to swing this for you, and I'm like, this is like 1% of what the Heroes Journal did the next day. I was like, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah, it's weird how working a corporate job will always be less exciting than like people buying your thing. Real and like real humans with in our case, real heroes with goals that want to accomplish something, and they're getting our journal. And I feel like this responsibility to like foster those experiences and so much more. It's like that will always be exciting, more exciting than like, hey, we got you the bonus, we got you your quarterly raise coming up.
Yeah.
It's like, so, you know, everyone's different. Not everyone is willing to trade their, like, we'll say 80 hours of a side hustle for like 40 hours of a corporate job. But I don't know, the journal has always had a special place in my heart. And when there was an opportunity to like really go for it,
I don't think you get a whole lot of those in life.
You don't.
It's hard to, those things only, you have to cultivate them, and there's still a lot of chance involved.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Like, and I still don't think
like the fact that I knew you,
right?
You know, and that we were connected, and you know,
it's true.
You reached out to me. Yeah.
You know what's so funny though, because I entrepreneurs are typically very risk. They're willing to take risks. I want to say risk averse, but that's the opposite. They're willing to take risks, and I actually tend to be on the more conservative side of things. And so the thing that really unlocked it for me, which is actually an exercise in our journal, it's the cost of inaction. It was like the fear setting part, the refusal of the call, if you want to call it that. It was like, I got my call to adventure, and then I got like scared. I got cold feet. I was like, well, there's so much security here. I have health benefits. I have, I've been here for a couple of years, like all that stuff. And I kind of realized, I was like, man, like one thing to help me is that there's always another job. Like I can always go out and get another corporate job doing something, right? Not that I had any offers lined up. I just knew in the back of my head that if the worst come to worst, like I would figure it out and I could make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helped me jump. It really helped me be like, you know what? Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, because I quit my job before I think I literally that month we started paying paychecks because we legally had to.
Yeah.
For the way our business is structured, you have to pay yourself a quote unquote reasonable wage.
Yeah.
But I was like, I went through it with her. I'm like, well, my parents live 30 minutes from here. They have a room I can crash in. My worst case scenario is I have to go live with them for a couple of months while I find a new corporate job and rebuild savings because this like totally bombed out.
Yep.
And I was like, well, that's not. It's a premeditatio malorum. It's not a Harry Potter spell. It's Marcus Aurelius. Like this idea of like meditating on the worst possible outcome. And even he took it one step further, which is like try to live it. You have a bunch of nice stuff, live without it for a couple of days. See what it feels like. You know, if you have a car, take the bus.
Right.
You know, like only eat the food you have at home. And it's like, oh, this is like, I actually can live off of ramen. It's like not that big of a deal.
Not that bad. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Like it's worse in your head than it is in real life. Almost always. I think the things we're afraid of are better in real life.
Yeah. I think so.
Should we fill out our journals?
Yeah, we should. Let's do that. If you guys don't know, maybe this is your first Saturday coffee talk in a while, or maybe it's your first ever. We fill out our journals live on the stream here. And, oh, wait, where's the camera? Sorry, there's like so many computers. I'm like, forget. Here's the journal. There's the camera. We brought our journals. These are real journals. I'm in Act 2. I just got to the cave sequence of the journal.
I'm in the desert.
You're in the Dauntless Dunes. Mm-hmm. And so we just literally fill out our journals here. So if you haven't, filled out your journal yet, I know it's Saturday. I know sometimes it's harder to journal when you're out of the weekly rhythm, the Monday to Friday. I encourage you, get up, go find your journal, get a pen, and take some time and journal with us because we're going to throw on some lo-fi and we're going to journal together. So then after that, we're probably going to sign off. Yeah, you should probably do the...
Or should we throw on some King's Kaleidoscope?
No, don't do that. It has to be royalty free.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll get flagged.
Dear Facebook, I'm in the band. I'm allowed to play it.
Yeah, they don't.
Does this work?
I think so. Should be okay.
Oh. Dear Facebook, I'm in the band. I have the stream open still. I'm really bad at this. Here we go.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. Yeah, that should work.
So just like.
Yeah, that should be good. Let us know if that volume is good. It's hard for us to tell, but anyway.
There's a lot of discussion about potato salad that I'm regretting I didn't get to be involved in.
Well, thank you guys for tuning into Coffee Chat. I had a great time, as I always do. Drinking coffee, waking up with you guys slowly, and doing a little bit of journaling. Hopefully you guys fill out your heroes journals today. Get a good sense of focus and gratitude and what's going to help you on your quest towards being the hero of your story. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
We're trying to get in the habit of saying our outro, which is
the hero in us sees the hero in you.
There you go. Hero in us sees the hero in you.